can cause them serious harm, in some cases even cause them to die. And the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program in the last 2 years has paid out more compensation for people injured by the flu shot than for any other vaccine. And I think it's because they're requiring so many people to have it. So where are we going to stop with that? Is it going to be all the vaccines? Is it going to be if you're having a bad day, you're required to have your Prozac? If your cholesterol level normal is less than 200 and yours is 201, you must take your Lipitor, you will be denied health insurance. Yeah. Are we going to be required to have these things to get on an airplane, to renew our driver's license, to go into a liquor store to prove that we can be out in public? I mean, where is this tyranny going to stop?
Full-scale control. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to work. We've already seen this happen to the medical community. We've seen have many people who call in. We ask people to call in and tell us about the adverse reactions that they've had to vaccines. And, of course, we're going to be taking calls on that and on anything else you'd like to call in the next hour. I'll be giving that number out later on. But people will call in and say, I had to take this because I was in the military. I had to take it because I was a healthcare worker. They're going to extend that to everybody. They're not going to, as you pointed out, they're not going to let you travel. They're not going to let your kids get into school. They're going to essentially quarantine you out of society with this kind of medical tyranny. And, of course, they're not going to stop there. They will kick the door down at some point and come in and shoot you with a vaccine if you don't shoot them with a gun first. That's where it's really going to come down to. So we really need to fight this at this point. We need to wake up to what is the logical result of this. And Dr. Tenpenny, I think that we look at this and we say, look at the precedents that they're establishing, the way that they are setting the public up with their mindset, just talking about this measles thing, and we know that's just a small part of it. That's not really the full agenda. They're just using that right now. We've been talking about fluoridating the water for a long time. Whether you believe what we're saying about our health concerns about that, how do you ever justify mass medicating the public through the water supply for anything? You can't control the dosage when you put it into the water supply. We have legitimate dosages for anything. So you have a child who is maybe, you don't know what kind of level that they're going to get because you can't control the concentration of that when you just dump it into the water supply. They might get something that is many times higher than you would give to an adult male. So that's what we're concerned about. If you establish that as a principle, and that's what this is all about. That's what this measles epidemic is about, that they're talking about, forcing people to take vaccines. They establish these precedents of mass medication, of taking away your informed consent. And they've got some things down the line that we should all be very concerned about, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, left or right.
Oh, absolutely. And not only do they have all the fluoride in the water, but there have been several studies that have come out now showing all of the pharmaceuticals that are in the water.
Yes.
And to my knowledge, there's no real filters out there to be able to filter out all these different pharmaceuticals because some of them are really small molecules, some of them are very large molecules. And so we're getting our dose of daily Prozac in our tap water every day.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that with the fish. They talk about how the fish are behaving strangely and reacting to these SSRI drugs because, as you pointed out, the water systems are not filtering that out. The water treatment systems are not set up to filter those pharmaceuticals out. So they're accumulating and building in the water supply.
And even with children with vaccines, with this one-size-fits-all vaccination policy that is only set up for the convenience of doctor visits and the insurance company, that they are to get these vaccines at birth, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, and pre-kindergarten. It's all set up on that schedule at the convenience of the of the insurance industry. And all the vaccines are given at the same dose at the same way. So it doesn't matter if you are a 6-pound premature baby or if you're a 12-pound baby, you get the same dose. And the same thing happens all the way up the scale. There's another thing that not very many people know about is about half of the vaccines when you get the little vial and there's the gray stopper at the top that you put the needle through. In about half of the vaccines, that is a very inert rubber. It's a gray rubber that's very inert, causes no side effects, no reactions. In another half of the vaccines, those rubber stoppers still contain large amounts of latex. So they sensitize people to latex through that rubber stopper. And because you don't know which one of those that you're getting, unless you know the manufacturer, you may be getting a lot of sensitization to latex, which increases your incidence of asthma and allergies, increases your reaction to foods. And all of these things are happening behind the scenes to confuse people so that they're not getting all of the same vaccine. Because if we were all getting all the same vaccine and it was dose related to our age and to our weight, and we're taking into consideration things like family history and whether your parents had a vaccine reaction, we would have a completely different conversation. But instead, it's this militant tyranny to make sure we were all inoculated with all of these substances.
That's very interesting because latex allergies were essentially, I'd never heard of that before I became an adult just a couple of decades ago. Now it's fairly prevalent, and it's amazing to see how these different things like that, like autism, as you pointed out, we can't get that. They're not interested in studying it or in terms of releasing those studies to us, but they also, by putting some of them out with an inert rubber and putting some of them out with a latex, it confuses it. It muddies the water. We can't get a good epidemiological study about the real effects of this. And I think it's deliberate. I think I picked up that you believe that it's deliberate too, don't you, Dr. Tenpenny?
Absolutely.
Yes. We're going to be right back. We've got one more segment with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. We'll also be taking your calls in the next hour, so stay with us.
This hour brought to you by InfidelBodyArmor.com. When it hits the fan, don't be left without the body armor that will save your life. With prices starting at just $374.99 and ships free. Get yours at InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
You hear about it every day. Another shooting where innocent people lose their lives. The best insurance is being prepared. Give your loved ones the safety they deserve with a bulletproof backpack. Independently tested to withstand a .357 and multiple other calibers. Perfect for students, commuters, anyone. Shield yourself and your family. Call 8445-BULLET. That's 8445-BULLET, or see the proof at bulletproofbp.com. Bulletproofbp.com. We've got your back.
Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Harvest Right, the makers of the only in-home freeze dryer, would like to present to you their greenhouses that double as emergency shelters. Their greenhouses simply snap together, no tools needed. As a greenhouse, it will stand for decades. It's incredibly strong, long-lasting, and it can be quickly put up or taken down. It is also ideal when used as an emergency shelter. Learn more about this great greenhouse and the money you can save over the big box store prices at harvestright.com. That's harvestright.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we're talking to Dr. Tenpenny, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. She was kept out of Australia because they didn't want people to hear her message about informed consent, her questioning of the safety and the efficacy of the vaccines. In the last segment, we were talking about how the government has moved to protect the vaccine companies from litigation. What does that tell you? What does it tell you that they have to be protected from being sued? What does it tell you that they want to demand that you be forced to take their products? Shouldn't you demand to be informed? Shouldn't you demand that they have to get your consent? Shouldn't you demand your rights? And as you pointed out, though, we've got bills pretty much in every state that are coming out to force mandated vaccines, to remove our informed consent. Dr. Tenpenny, tell us where we can get information from you. You're a wealth of information. You've got a lot of, you've got several different websites here. Tell us where we can go to get more information.
Well, one closing comment, David, that I think is really important is that the politicians in your state and the politicians in Washington only care about two things. They care about votes and they care about money. And right now we are really in a fight for our life. It's a race to the finish line to protect our rights on a state level. And so every one of your listeners really needs to go to nvicadvocacy.org, get signed up for your own states, start letting people know that you've got to protect your right to refuse not only what is on the schedule today, but what's coming. For more information from me, you can get that at drtenpenny.com, which is dr10penny, just like it sounds, .com. My Facebook page is Dr. Tenpenny on vaccines. And I have another site that's called the Vaccine Research Library, which is vaccineresearchlibrary.com, where we've collected more than 6,500 mainstream medical articles that show problems associated with vaccines. You can sign up there for free for 2 weeks, get information about MMR, aluminum, and pertussis, and hopefully spread the word that vaccines are not safe, they're not effective, they don't protect you, and they do cause harm.
And we'll have those links on the YouTube video of this interview. That'll be on the Alex Jones YouTube channel. And if you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please become a subscriber. You'll see these videos as they come up. You'll be able to find these links to these different groups. And, of course, we would ask that you support our operation by subscribing to Prison Planet TV, where you'll get the nightly news each night and be able to share that with 20 people. Now, the one that is talking about the bills that are being introduced in all the different states. Let me repeat that one again, Dr. Tenpenny. That's nvicadvocacy.org. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And when you go there for your particular state and you register, you will only get alerts about your state. So you're not going to be inundated. If you're in Pennsylvania, you're not going to know about Oklahoma. So you're just going to know about the states that are very important to you. And they will tell you, this is a good bill. Encourage your representatives to vote for this one. This is a bad bill. It's going to take away your rights. Encourage your representatives to vote no on this bill. This is the most urgent point in time we've ever had with this issue. Everyone who cares about their freedom, about what's going on with their lives, the lives of their children and your grandchildren, you must get involved. You must get involved.
That's very important, and I think we can have much more effect at the local, at the state level. People knowing what is coming up in their particular state, being able to go in, I think the people who are concerned about this, the people who are informed about this, the people who demand that they have individual liberty, those are people who will really stand up and fight in most cases because they're looking at this issue. They understand the threat that it is to their freedoms. They understand the threat that it is to their health, to the life of themselves and their families. And I think if they can network together, that's very important. We need to not only just stop the bad bills that are going to remove our informed consent, but we need to put it in law, as this representative in Maine, the My Body, My Choice, as he put it, an act to make it illegal to require anyone to receive a vaccine against their free will. What's so controversial about that? That ought to be the default position in America. Unfortunately, it isn't. We're going to have to fight. Thank you so much, Dr. Tenpenny, for the information, for your efforts, and we'll have those links for those various sites up on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay with us right after. Thank you. Stay with us right after the break. We'll be taking your calls, 800-259-9231.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.